Okay, everybody, this is Mr. Ainsworth, and we're going to get into your quiz corrections here on Chapter 8, Section 24, Quiz Version 2. So, let's take out your red pen, and do some of the annotations in red. Let's also take out your scientific calculator, and remember, we're going to do all corrections for you. All corrections on another paper. Whoa, on another paper. Okay, and attach when done. So, and attach when done. Okay, so remember, you do that, do a really good job. Otherwise, I'm not going to allow anyone to retest. You got to do a good job. Okay. Also, let's see. Well, I'll let you know as we go through it. So let's just go for it. And remember, this is for version 2 of the quiz here. I had 2 versions, so make sure you got the right one. Okay, so get your calculator out. I'm talking about the TI-84 and or something equivalent. Grab your calculator and a scientific one, and let's go for it. Sorry about that. Okay, first thing we do is we label the diagram. So put your pencil at your angle here. Talk about the acute angle, not the right angle, but the acute angle, and draw an arrow to the opposite side. Okay, and label. So you always label first, as I always teach in class. Label first. The side adjacent to the angle is called the adjacent side. Next to the angle. Hypotenuse is the longest side, opposite of the right angle. Okay? But what deals with, not the hypotenuse, but what deals with the opposite and adjacent? Well, what deals with that is the tangent function. Okay? Remember, sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse, cosine adjacent divided by hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite divided by adjacent. So Coteau, as I always say. So let's go through it here and let's detail it out. We're going to take tangent now of 29 degrees, and we're going to set that equal to opposite divided by adjacent. Okay, and that's for the setup. And what you guys need to do is always set up the problem and tell me how to start it. Okay? Second thing is we need to show how to solve for the unknown. In this case, since x is being divided by 17, we do the inverse, and that calls for multiplying by 17, both sides. Okay, show the simplifying. 17 divided by 17 is 1. 1 times x is x. So that gives us our unknown. And that's equal to 17 times the tangent of 29 degrees. That's called our exact answer. After you get your exact, you use your calculator, and you take 17 and multiply it by the tangent of 29 degrees. So we're showing the calculators. Let's turn the, make sure they're in degree mode here. The second mode, quit out, get to your home screen. And then, of course, enter 17 times tangent of 29 degrees. So 17 times the tangent of 29 degrees, and you'll get your side length. Rounding to the nearest tenth, or excuse me, hundredth. So you look at the third digit, round the second. Alright, and that'd be about 9.42. Alright, so let's record that. So 9.42 is approximate to x. So step 1, show setup. Show setup. That's step 1. 2. Step 2, that's 2 right there. Show process. And step 3, find the exact and approximate. Find the exact answer, and the approximate answer, right here. Okay? So you got to do that here. Show the setup, show me how to solve it, write it down in its exact form, and approximation to the nearest hundredth. Alright, so let's continue here. Let's take this triangle here and label the sides. The side adjacent to 48 degrees is 14. Opposite of the right angle is the longest side, called the hypotenuse. It's the longest side, so we'll start with 1, 2. Okay, and the function that deals with adjacent and hypotenuse is your cosine function. So let's set up a cosine equation here. Cosine of the angle, 48 degrees, is equal to adjacent side 14 divided by x here. That's my setup. Okay, and now what I need to do is solve it. So I need to look on the denominator. The variable's in the denominator, which is no good. So I'm going to clear the fractions, and I'm going to multiply both sides by x. Show the simplifying. And then I get x times cosine of 48 degrees is equal to 14 times 1 or 14. Now, x is being multiplied by this number here. It's called cosine of 48 degrees. Well, I'm still not done yet. I got to divide both sides by cosine of 48 to isolate my unknown. So we're simplifying. Anything divided by itself is 1. I get x is exactly equal to 14 divided by cosine of 48 degrees, whatever that is. So I don't know, so let's use the calculator, right? So 14 divided by cosine of 48. 14 divided by cosine 48 degrees. Let the calculator do the work, and you get about 20.92 rounded to the nearest hundredth. So 20.92, and that makes sense. The hypotenuse is on the side, and the answer I expect to be longer than 14, and it is. So your answers have to make sense. Okay, they must make sense. And if they don't, you did it wrong, okay? So keep that in mind. Alright, so let's continue here. Let's label the triangle here. So let's do that in red. Opposite of the angle is 10. The adjacent of the angle is x there. That calls for the tangent function, opposite divided by adjacent. So let's have to set up a tangent function. So the tangent of my angle is 25 degrees is equal to 10 divided by x. That's my setup. Let's show process. Let's multiply both sides by x. And bring everything down. So I get x times the tangent of 25 degrees is equal to 10. However, I'm not done yet because I got to divide by the tangent of 25 degrees. And that must mean that x is equal to 10 divided by the tangent of 25 degrees. Which is a number, right? So you got to figure out what that is. What is 10 divided by the tangent of 25 degrees? I don't know. That's why I gave you guys a calculator. So 10 divided by the tangent of 25 degrees. And that would be about 21.45. 21.45. So let's stick that in. Now, again, this side's longer than 10. And so I'm expecting an answer bigger than 10, and I got one. I got 21.45. So my answer makes sense again. Before you're trying to find an angle, so let's call it x. And let's label the sides. Okay, so here, adjacent to the angle is 37. The hypotenuse, the longest side, is 42. And that deals with a cosine function. Cosine is defined to be adjacent divided by a hypotenuse. So let's set up a cosine equation. And let's say that the cosine of the angle x, the unknown, is equal to 37 divided by 42. And here's my setup. So I want to show some process here. And whenever you find an angle right here, you need to take the inverse of the function. The inverse of cosine is called cosine inverse. Just like that. So you take that of the left side, and you take the inverse cosine of the right side. So left side, cosine x, right side, 37 42. So notice in red that I took the inverse cosine of both sides. Okay, now in algebra, the inverses always cancel each other out. So the inverse cosine of cosine would be your angle x, and that's equal to the inverse cosine of 37 42, whatever that may be. And it's an angle, right? So what would x be? Well, let's figure it out. So you go, I'm going to figure this out. So let's go second cosine to get the inverse, right? Look at the notation right there. Looks exactly what we're dealing with here. 37 divided by 42. Hopefully that's right. Let me check. It's about 28.24. Okay, 28.24. Let's bring that in. 28.24 degrees. Okay, and it's a small angle here in the diagram, and I got a small angle. And again, it's an angle, so I put a degree symbol on it. So once again, you guys just have to remember to do it all step by step. set it up, show process, show the answer. It's a three-step process that I'm looking for. Okay? Now, on these next few, it's different. You want your answers in what's called simplest radical form, and on the special right triangles, no calc, no trig. Alright? You'll notice on your previous quiz that, on this quiz actually, you used trig. I didn't give you any credit for it because you're not supposed to. Alright? When we went through the lesson, you're supposed to understand to get from hypotenuse to leg on a 45-45 isosceles triangle, which means the two legs are congruent. That means u equals v because it's isosceles. Okay? You have to divide by rad 2. That's all you do. So u equals v, and that equals 4 divided by rad 2. And then you're supposed to know how to rationalize, which I talked about in class, and that's simple too. Whatever the denominator is, multiply it by a formula 1. That's what we get. So I get 4 rad 2 up top. 4 times rad 2 is 4 rad 2. Root 2 times root 2 is root 4. That gives me 4 rad 2 divided by 2, because root 4 is just 2. And then you're supposed to understand that you can divide the non-roots. So let's do that. 4 divided by 2. Well, I'll tell you what, that's just 2 of it. So my answer is 2 rad 2. So u equals v is equal to 2 rad 2. 2 rad 2, this is 2 rad 2. They're both the same because it's isosceles. Remember, isosceles means two congruent sides. That's what those marks mean. Now, number 6 is different. You got a medium side, you got a short side, and you got a hypotenuse, long side. Okay, now to go from medium to short, you divide by rad 3. You need to switch sides. So you divide by rad 3. Alright, so y equals 10 divided by rad 3. Then you rationalize, like we do in class. And you get 10 rad 3 divided by root 9. That's 10 rad 3 divided by 3. Why? Because root 9 is 3, right? And then you get from short to hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is equal to 2 times the short, right? You guys are supposed to know that 2 times the short. You double that. So x is 2 times the other side. So 10 root 3 over 3. It gives you 20 root 3 over 3. Why? 10 times 2 is 20. Always has been the case and always will be the case. So one more time, you go from medium to short, you divide by root 3 because you're getting shorter. You go from short to long, you double it. Times it by 2, it's twice as long. And that's all there is to it. Then on these triangles here, you got two sides and you're trying to find the third, and you're trying to write it in simplest radical form. Well, guess what? This is the Pythagorean theorem problem, section 8.1. So let's write down Pythagorean theorem. And Pythagorean theorem, or Pythagoras, 2,600 years ago, stated that if you have two legs of the right triangle and you have what's called a hypotenuse, that the leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. That's what he said. You guys think of it as a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but the people that missed it on the test didn't know what a, b, and c represent. So I suggest you think of it this way, okay? And let's apply it. Write that down. If you want to retest, then do it right. Start with the legs and square them both. Okay, so let's go for it. We're going to take 12 squared plus 6 squared is equal to x squared. That's 144 plus 36 is equal to x squared. That's 180 is equal to x squared. The square root. And then 180, what is that? Well, let's factor. Divided by 2 to get 90, divided by 2 to get 45, divided by 5 to get 9, divided by 3 to get 3, divided by 3 to get 1. I see a square here and here. I see a bigger square here. And so my factors are right here. So I'm going to split the root like I always do. Alright, and I get 6 rad 5. That's my answer. That's called simplest radical form. Okay? And remember, if that was too fast, which it probably was, it's a video. Alright? So go ahead and rewind, pause and rewind, replay, listen to it again. Okay? Now on this one, same thing. You got 2 legs. You have a high fiver. No big deal. Start off with legs. 6 squared plus x squared is equal to 8 squared. 36 plus x squared is equal to 64. Subtract 36. You get x squared is equal to 28. That means x is equal to the square root of 28. And again, you got to split the root. And since 4 times 7 is 28, you might as well just go for it because it's not too hard. Alright, we get 2 rad 7. That's called simplest radical form. Okay? So remember that. Do your best. Okay, and now the last thing what I want you guys to do is this. I'm going to put it in red. I want you to print another blank copy, another copy of this. Okay, and practice. Okay, when you're done, attach it to the original with your corrections. Okay, and turn it in. Okay, I will not allow anybody to retest unless they correct their test, practice, and then turn everything back in. Okay? Some of you guys may need more than that, so that all depends on you. And I think you ought to just think about what you need. If you need more help, let me know. Come and see me, and I'll help you out. So perfect practice makes perfect. Go ahead and print again. Once again, print another copy. Practice 2 or 3 times. Spend some time on it. Do something different. Do it better. And I'll see you next time in my next lesson. This is Mr. Ainsworth signing off. See you.